Don Getling and Gino Franti.
The nice thing is we're available to help, so you can give us a call at 855-DON-GINO, D-O-N-G-I-N-O, 855-DON-GINO, or email us if you want to be a little more discreet, donandgino@gmail.com. Also, George, what's a good way to get a hold of you?
You know, one of the best things people can do is go to my website first, and that's creditrepair30, the number 30.com. There's a 4-minute video that explains all of Prime National. And they can just put their name, phone number, and email, and it'll text me their information, and I can contact them back. Or my phone number, 805-432-6772.
So we're sitting here today on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show with Taylor Weiner from Cherry Creek Mortgage joining me today.
Thank you, the Gino and Taylor Show.
The Gino and Taylor Show. Hey, I kind of like the ring of that. I get to go first on that. The Gino and Taylor Show.
Don may be in trouble.
And George Hartmann joining us from Prime National Credit Repair, and we're trying to help you save money by fixing your credit. And, Taylor and I could speak to this because we see this every day. It is never, and I'm not going to say never, never is a bad word, but it is hardly ever more important to have good credit than to get a mortgage. On the largest investment that most people make in their lives, it has a tremendous impact in the cost of financing. Not only in the cost of financing, but as Taylor knows, a lot of times we have to decline people due to credit because they just don't have enough score to even get the process started. And those are perfect candidates for you, George, is to get those people from, where they're at to where they want to be in a relatively short amount of time.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we try to do whatever it takes to get our clients into a home. And if it is a credit-related issue, you want to be able to send that referral out and have them be able to work on the things they need to work out and come back to us so we can get them in a home. I think the big takeaway for me is that it depends on how bad you want it. If you really want that home and there is some issues, there are people like George out there that would love to help you get where you need to be and get it done.
Well, and like we went over, Taylor, George's fees are reasonable in the marketplace for what you do, George.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you clarified that it's not like cheap credit repair. It's inexpensive because it's efficient.
That's right.
And ultimately, I love that it's efficient. I love that you attack everything all at once. We all know credit is the mystery box. It doesn't all get fixed all the time. And then there's two things I do want to clarify, though, is that sometimes just a better score isn't the only thing that impacts your ability to get a mortgage. Also, something to run away from someone if they say that just because you got your bankruptcy off your credit report that you're going to be able to apply for a mortgage and not disclose that. No, you're going to be perjuring yourself. It very clearly asks on page 4, have you declared bankruptcy in the last 7 years? And it's no secret, just because it's off the credit report, you should still disclose that you had it because it's a matter of public record.
Mm-hmm.
But what you're still doing is you're artificially improving your score so that you can get a better rate, and there's nothing wrong with that. Ultimately, we always want to make sure you get the best terms, the best rates, the best prices, and we were discussing a little bit return on investment for fixing your credit. And Taylor, you could tell us a little bit about that. We were talking about the loan level price adjustments. Can you tell us a little bit what those are?
So loan level pricing adjustments are based upon FICO and how much you're putting down on a payment. So we'll stick to the FICO aspect. Relatively speaking, from let's say a 660 to a 680 is a 3/4 point hit to the rate. That's thousands of dollars. I didn't hear any thousands come out of George's mouth, so $1,500 may save you $3,000.
And that's only if you just move up one tier. That's just moving from a 660 to a 680. So this was on a 75% to 80% loan to value. What I looked at was a 3/4 point adjustment from a 660 to a 680 FICO. So on a $400,000 home, you're looking at a $3,000 savings. And that's $3,000 different to get the same rate. That's how we measure that. So if someone was to pay for your services of, let's say the worst case scenario was $14.95, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, so on the worst case scenario, someone going from a 660 to a 680 would double their money. So it's a great investment.
And even on the worst case scenario, somebody that's got 30 items or more, they might not even qualify for a loan at all, let alone be in that close of a range.
Yeah, and ultimately, like I said, there's other loan level price adjustments. That was just a good example. And someone with a 660 credit score, that's not bad credit.
No.
That's fair. That's very reasonable. I think the national average is in the 686 range. I think the last time I checked was about 686 was the national average. So, but it's funny how just moving from fair to good can save you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you know what? A lot of people take this all backwards because they'll come to a realtor or to yourselves for a loan first and then find out that they've got issues where they should, address this now. And luckily we have quick turn times, so we're not talking buying a house 6 months or a year from now, but, we're talking, 60 days. Most of the time you have a 45 or 60-day escrow anyway.
So tell me a little bit. I know we were sharing a little over the break. Give me some success stories, George, because I know that we want to talk about facts and not fantasy here.
Yeah.
So you were pretty proud of some of these. So tell me a little bit about what you see.
Well, these are a couple that just came back this week. And the first one, we had Equifax. We had 11 of 12 items removed.
Wow.
So that was really good. The toughest one is always Experian, 3 of 6. So 50% of what they had was removed. And on TransUnion, 11 of 15.
Wow.
So that was, 25 out of 32 total items. And that was 39-day turn time.
Wow.
On that one. So that's really good.
In 39, that's one batch.
One batch.
One batch.
Yeah, so now we've got them back in 39 days, and we have a 2-day processing time to do the second submission. So we'll go after the rest and the inquiries and make sure addresses and stuff are corrected.
So let's clarify that for a second, because there's 2 submissions. So it's 37 to 39 days, and then you're going to give it one more pass. And the reason you do that is why?
Well, because we want to obviously get the best results that we can. Might have missed something in that first one. And not only that, on the second submission, that's when we do the inquiries. So we work on all the hard stuff in the first 30 days, making sure that we can get that as quick as possible, and then we go after the littler things, and whatever's left over in the second submission.
So in order to get the absolute ultimate results, I really should plan on 80 to 90 days, start to finish. And, I mean, those were great results. I mean, that was, 25 out of 32?
Yeah, and the other one here is 16 out of 22 in 37 days.
Okay, and I don't know what impact those had on scores, but I could tell you if you get off, half to 3/4 of the negative items on your credit report, your scores are going to jump.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, I guess I'm going to jump right back in.
The live blooper show?
It is the live blooper show. Are you just trying to live and mimic Don Getling and his blooper reel?
I was about to say the same thing.
No, I guess, something to touch on for me would be how to maintain good credit, where your revolving balances should be and what you can do to achieve the maximum score. So to try to transfer away from somebody maybe with bad credit, but somebody looking to go from 720 to 760, because a lot of times there's a pricing adjustment from those FICO scores as well.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of it can be done with credit cards. Somebody will have a 0%, interest rate on a card, and so they transfer all their balances to that, but then they're carrying 75, 80% of the limit on one card. It can really hurt your scores once you get above 50. It's like 30%, 50%, and 70%. Really, at 70%, you're maxed on that card. So you're better off having lower balances on multiple cards. So that's going to raise your credit scores because it shows that you have more to borrow with than having one card that's maxed out.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Is debt rebalancing is probably one of the number one ways that we can see credit improvement. And George, that's not something that you take care of. That's something that Taylor and I can help our clients with through a credit rescore. And I'd like to point out that that's really a really quick process. That's something we can do as little as 5 days, but most likely 10 by the time that they pay off the lines of credit and do the things they need to do. In about 10 days, sometimes we see 30 point improvements, and those improvements are helping us yield those savings of thousands of dollars that we've had in the past.
Yeah, I mean, there's multiple things that we can do, and between the team here, make sure that people are on their path to not just getting it repaired, but also how do we raise it.
Very good. So if you want to get on the path to get your credit repaired, tell me, George, how do they get a hold of you? One more time real quick.
Yeah, the website's the easiest because they get a full explanation before they even talk to me. That's creditrepairin30.com, or my phone number, 805-432-6772. That's my direct line.
Awesome. George Hartmann with Prime National Credit Repair joining us on Don and Gino show today, and it was the Gino and Taylor show
The
today,
Gino
right?
and Taylor show.
I like the ring of that, Taylor, so you could join me anytime you want. So hang around for the second half as we go over with Daniel Hunt and Rena Tarrant on how to succeed in today's real estate market. Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show.